it naturally attracts the best talents around the world. The 3 buildings will be coming up in the next 2-3 years. I think Zaha needs very little introduction. You all know that she's a Pritzker Prize winner. Today is a big day for Chinese architects because the first time ever in history that Chinese Wangshu won the Pritzker. And of course Zaha is also one of the jury. She's also designing the London, for the Olympic, the swimming pool. That will be the symbol for London Olympic this year when it opens. She's also doing 3 major projects with SOHO, 2 in Beijing. This one you see, it's going to be the largest development when you come out from the airport to the city. And we went just to Galaxy, which is in East 2nd Ring Road. And in Shanghai, we have another one, also by Zaha, again, by Hongqiao. And for those of you who have been to Guangzhou, probably have seen the Guangzhou Opera House.
What do you enjoy most about working in Beijing and in China in general?
Well, I think there is an openness, which as an architect I enjoy, on all the levels. I think that the corporate, let's say, world in the West is very quite conservative. And there's also a desire here to try new ideas and test certain things which have not been tested.
I used to study in Beijing years ago, and now when I come back, it's icon here, there, and everywhere. How do you make your icon different?
Interpret the site in a different kind of way than. I mean, these 2 projects, for example, the sites are very, very large. So the idea was how do you break the mass and also try to carve in a space within the interior which makes it possible to walk around, to go to the shops or to have public space within the domain of what is seen as a private space, where you see from above, you can see from below, you can see all the layers, all the bridges from one to the next. So that was the idea. So that if you are within an office space, you see different vistas. You don't only see out to the street, but you see each other within the. And in the project here, we always try to look also the idea of what I call a kind of ensemble, which is which is more than one building together. And in this case, it was like kind of like mountainous range or whatever.
To balance the old and new, and how to evaluate how Beijing and Shanghai.
When I went to Shanghai the first time, it was really very stunning city. But I mean, for example, if I want to talk about Venice, Venice is a very beautiful city. Nobody wants to build there. It's totally preserved, but it's dead. Right. There is no life. I mean, there's life for tourism, which is fine. It's a large hotel, but the population is not growing. Of course, nobody would imagine demolishing things in Venice, but it has meant that it's stagnated. So you have to. It's not about the old buildings and the new buildings. You have to also think what the next generation requires, how do they want to spend their time, and what do they want to do in that place.
You're a jury on the award committee, and how would you evaluate his work?
It was very important that the jury and the award try to open it to another domain. I think that otherwise it becomes always very predictable. Who's going to get it. So I think from that point of view, it's very exciting that it's opened up, and I think that it must be great for China.
Quite the opposite from your side.
Yeah, it is definitely the opposite. It is the opposite, but I think that one has to also be able to appreciate other people's work. I mean, I don't think that we all have to like or want exactly things which are similar. People have to be able to judge quality, whether it's the same or very different. Yeah. I hate nature. I refuse categorically when I was a student to put a single plant in
Sorry,
any
on this
drawing.
part, why would you force yourself to come to China and you didn't like nature?
No, but I liked it after I came to China. I spent a month in China, and I went to every garden in Suzhou, and I was complaining, of course, all day long. I don't want to see another garden. And I realized that the Chinese landscape was really like the scrolls. I was very intrigued by China. I think I must have seen these pictures of Nixon or somebody on the wall. I wanted to see. I wanted to go there. I bought so many silks here, and it became a way of dressing for me. And I wore Chinese silk for 10 years after that. And the most interesting, of course, was the way the organization of all the gardens. I mean, the Mandarin gardens in Shanghai, there was a real, very, I think, genius manipulation of space.
Yeah. So
Well, because I don't want to be influenced by decoration.
Yeah.
I think that it's more important to understand tradition through organization, as opposed to, using kind of pastiche tricks to mimic.
one question. You have been working with Xin for many years. And how would you describe your working relationship
With me?
and with her?
I mean, I think it's very important to have an understanding client and who have the same ambitions as you have as an architect. I mean, I was thinking, as an architect, you always have to, the client might come to you and say, I want that. And you think about it, and you have to do something better than that. Because if you have the expertise, you can then do something which not totally expected, but you can find a solution which is an improvement on that. If you go to a doctor, you don't tell a doctor to tell you what you should do. Only with architecture they tell you what you should do.
So thousands of billions of plans, and everyone wants your design. Everyone loves your design. So how do you feel?
There's still discrimination. Very good people around me who indulge to stay with me up in my office till 5 in the morning every night for years. I mean, we did not sleep for, throughout the 90s. And I think it was that amazing commitment and craziness, hard work that made us survive. But they were still they don't like it because you're a foreigner. They can't go golfing with you because you're a woman. You can't go on a boat trip. You can't have dinner. You can't do all sorts of things, because the guy's wife is going to be upset and they don't want you there. No, it's true. I mean, it's a fact. But they don't think you're retarded. At least that's something, which is great achievement. Now they think all women are smart. Early in my career, somebody said to me, "How did you get here? As a woman and Arab?" I said, "I came by airplane." Because they were saying, "How did you get here?" I said, "By airplane."
In a way that against all this odd-looking or not symmetrical Chinese feng shui standard buildings.
You can learn from these things. I mean, you could be inspired by the Great Wall. Actually, I was. Because the idea of I always thought the wall here was like a motorway. When I came here, I went up the wall, I realized it breaks at every hill. It is not continuous. So the idea of the lines breaking was also something one learned from that. I think you are inspired by these things, and that was exciting because one travels everywhere. You can have one idea from one place, but the way you apply to the other place makes it unique to that place. You know, the one thing that is good about China, when I went to Hong Kong the first time, everyone saying, oh, this is an old building, it's going to be demolished. And I would say, well, how old? And they said, 10 years. I said, 10 years is not old. So I think we're going to have a construction going on here for a long time.